Call to order the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, February the 12th, 2026. Our invocation will be done by the overseer, Dr. Camilla Terrell, Kingdom International Alliance Ministries. After that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Heavenly Father, we come before you with humility and gratitude for the city of Douglasville. We thank you for this land. We thank you for its history. We thank you for its family. We thank you for the leaders and for every citizen who calls this city home. Lord, we invite your wisdom into this place. Let righteousness guide every decision. Let integrity sit at the head of every table. Let justice flow through every department. Let every courtroom, every school, and every neighborhood. Father, we pray for unity over diversion. We pray for clarity over confusion. We pray for peace over unrest. Strengthen our mayor, city council, public servants, first responders, business owners, educators, and community leaders. Give them courage to lead with compassion and conviction. Cover Douglasville with your protection. Prosper the work of our hands, Lord. Heal what is broken. Restore what has been delayed, Father. Let this city be known not only for growth and development, but for character, collaboration, and community. May our decisions today reflect wisdom for tomorrow. It's in your holy and righteous name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for the Pledge of Allegiance, and thank you, Dr. Terrell, for that beautiful and poignant invocation. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. I will give the instructions on how the meeting will run this evening, and then we'll get into the meeting. Welcome to our refreshed conference center. We're excited to be back here and just excited for the new things that are on the horizon for the City of Douglasville. This is a work session where agenda items will be discussed and presented this evening, and no official action will be taken on these items until next Tuesday. I think Monday is President's Day. And do we have council on Monday? Oh, we come to work on Monday? Okay, we come to work on President's Day, Monday at 6 p.m. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few protocol items, and then we'll get into the meat of the meeting. I ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. If you receive a warning from the chair, and you deviate from this requirement, a second deviation will result in us asking you to leave the chambers this evening. Only one person speaking at a time. When you're at the podium, please do not applaud, turn around, talk to the audience, carry on a conversation, or be disruptive. Direct all of your comments and concerns to myself or the chairperson that's on the council. I'll remind you that we're only required to accept public comments during the public required hearings. And if you will give comments after that our zoning matters, we ask that you would not do that during the time of comments from citizens and delegates, but that you would do that at the time of the public hearing. Please address all of your comments to the chair. If the information is repetitive or information presented earlier in the meeting or any other meetings, we ask that you would not repeat yourself. Our policy requires that printed information be used for review to be submitted in advance to the city clerk and to be included to the council member's work packet. And during the comments from citizens and delegates, we will not address zoning issues or items that were discussed during the public hearing. The time to address those comments will be during the citizens' time to speak at the public hearing, but not during comments from citizens and delegates, violations or these commitments, or if you make a decision to speak at that time, Georgia state zoning procedures can overturn the comments that are given outside of the public hearings. I'll go over how each agenda item will be handled, and then we'll get into the meat of the meeting. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, please put those in silent mode. And this is how the agenda item will be handled. The committee chairperson will read his or her item, then that person or agent representing the person or applicant will come forward, give your name and address for the record, and myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments if it's a public hearing for 20 minutes for those that are in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those that are in opposition. Each person has 5 minutes to speak. Before you come and speak, there are speaker cards. I think it's a form outside. We ask that you would fill that form out. When you come to the podium, you give it to our Assistant City Clerk, Ms. Candace James. Come to the podium, and then you can have 5 minutes to talk to us. Prior to coming to the podium, of course, state your name and address for the record, and each person has one opportunity to speak. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're not going to go back and forth. If we have some information that staff needs to provide for you, we'll make certain that that happens at that time. That's a whole lot of information. Hopefully, we're all on the same page. There are agenda items that are printed outside if you like to have a paper copy. If not, then you can follow us on the screen. Now we will go, each item is handled by committee. So we'll go through the committee items, and we are at item 5, Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Finance Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have one item tonight under Finance.
Yes, sir.
Authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Ward Humphrey, Inc., for the Douglasville Police Department Shop Expansion Project, RFP 2025-009, in the amount of $1,321,300 to be funded through SPLOST 2022, and Ms. Alicia Mann will handle this tonight.
Okay.
Good evening. Alicia Mann, Senior Program Administrator, what is it?
Is it 66?
I'll just do
669. What's the new
Church
address?
Street. That is, I apologize.
City
So-
Hall.
Temporary City
Yes.
Hall.
What you have before you is the agreement with Ward Humphreys for the Police Department Maintenance Shop expansion. This RFP, the scope for this RFP was to expand our police department's maintenance shop by adding an 1,800 square foot for work bays, as well as a 1,700 square foot of open vehicle storage. The new work bays will be equipped with the vehicle lift, as well as a motor room, shelving, and cabinets that are needed to support the maintenance operations for the police department. Site improvements include the existing transformer will have to be moved back from the addition for the building, replacing curb and gutter as necessary, as well as applying seal coating for striping for the existing parking lot. Just to give you a little bit of background, so currently the police department does have a vehicle wash as well as a parts room and one vehicle bay. So the maintenance building is located in the back of your police department. This addition will give them an additional work bay that'll also include that vehicle lift as well as a motor room and open storage. In your attachments, you'll see kind of the layout of the addition for the maintenance shop. For the procurement timeline, it was advertised in October of 2025. We did conduct a mandatory pre-bid meeting for any of the vendors that wanted to bid on the RFP. Proposals were due at the beginning of December. Evaluations from the evaluation committee were completed in January, and the contract was finalized in February 4th of 2026. We did receive 5 bids for this RFP. From your evaluation committee, the highest vendor that was selected was for Ward Humphreys, Inc. The price for this addition will be $1,321,300. Some of the references they supplied were reference letters from Cherokee County, which they did their fire and EMS Station 30, as well as Douglas County's coroner's facility. And I can answer any additional questions you have.
Thank you, Ms. Mann. I'd like Deputy Chief, if you have any comments about this item.
Yes, sir. So the main benefit, the amount of miles that our cars get on them and the size of our fleet, there's pretty much always maintenance being done on the vehicles. So with just one bay with a lift, if our mechanic has to do some major work on a car and disassemble part of it on the lift and then wait for parts, he can't work on any other cars to do the routine maintenance, oil changes and stuff like that. So it's really going to be a time saver and let us get our cars back on the road sooner.
Okay, thank you. Comments from council, Madam Mayor?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Anybody? Yes, Councilman Estes.
I just want to confirm this is being paid for with SPOS proceeds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. No other? All right. If it's okay with council, I'd like to place this item on consent agenda for Monday.
Looks good.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mann. Thank you, Deputy Chief. Madam Mayor, that's all we had tonight under finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Mann and Deputy Chief Davison, Gerard Davison. We'll move on to item 7, which is Housing and Community Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Housing and Community Affairs Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, led by the Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item to the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee
Yes,
this
sir.
evening. And that is to adopt an ordinance to amend Section 2-50 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Douglasville to add all meetings, conferences, trainings, didn't know that was a word, trainings, and events presented by the Georgia Municipal Association as approved events for purposes of providing travel expenses for elected officials, to provide for the approval of one night of paid lodging expenses for elected officials for events located at least 25 miles from Douglas County when the event is 2 consecutive days, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. And our city manager, Marcia Frazier, will have some comments.
Mayor Pro Tem, you and I kind of discussed this. This was an ordinance that I assumed that was already cleaned up from previous discussions that you all had had in previous years about your approved travel list and your ability to stay overnight as it relates to events such as Cities United that are hosted by the Georgia Municipal Association. But as Ms. Jordan was going through several, including the charter and the administrative ordinance, she pointed out that that had not been addressed. So this would allow for that. She can give more explanation as to what the ordinance states, but this would allow for you all to be in compliance, because currently, right now, the ordinance is not written in a way where there is clarity to show that you all are approved to have that concession.
Ms. Jordan?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Madam Mayor, members of council. Miranda Jordan, staff attorney. I will not try to give you their Spring Street address because I'm still not quite there, and I apologize. So this is an item, and we can adjust a little bit on this before Monday at your pleasure. This was kind of put together quickly, but I want to explain what it says specifically. So the 2 sections that are proposed to be amended, the first section that lists the actual events that are already approved for Madam Mayor and members of council. Previously, it just said the annual convention of the Georgia Municipal Association. The first amendment proposed would amend to say meetings, conferences, trainings, and events presented by the Georgia Municipal Association. So that would include any mandatory training events for newly elected officials. That would include any training institutes, and that would also include the Cities United Conference in addition to the GMA Convention in Savannah. So it's pretty all-inclusive. The next section that is proposed to be amended is subsection E. And typically, your hotel stays must be at least 50 miles away from Douglas County. Anything less than that would require driving each day to an event. The proposed change would allow for anything that is 2 consecutive days that you would be, if it's at least 25 miles away from the city, that you would be allowed to stay the one night between those 2 meeting dates. Again, there can be some flexibility with that, but this is proposed language at this time. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. And for anybody keeping score at home, to clarify, this does not affect our overall budget. That still stays the same. This is just simply what we can spend it on. So, any questions or comments? Councilman Watts.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I guess I've never thought to ask this question before. If you're commuting that 25 miles for a 2-day event, does that affect, or what kind of effect does that have on mileage if you're driving over and back, as opposed to spending the night?
I think they're separate and apart, so this just allows for the expenditure to be covered, but your mileage rate would not be affected or changed.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments? Or
Yeah.
Councilman Davis?
Yes, I'm glad to see it get cleaned up, because one year we got caught up down there at the Hilton, and the ice and snow and couldn't get back. So we had to end up staying overnight, so now we're good to go.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, did you have anything? No? Any other comments? Would it behoove us to put this on the consent agenda for Monday? Okay. It seems that is a consensus. Madam Mayor, that is all we have under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Attorney Ms. Miranda, and our City Manager Frazier. We'll move on then to item 10, which is Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Okay, we do have.
Oh, I missed somebody.
That's okay,
I
because
apo-
there's no
apologize.
business for the
Personnel
and
Organization
this
Committee,
evening.
Howard
So go right on
Estes.
to number 10.
I was anticipating the business. Thank you, Councilman Estes. I apologize for the oversight. So we don't have any business under Personnel and Organization Committee by Councilmember Howard Estes, and we'll go back to Councilmember Miller for Planning and Development Committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Yep, we do have a couple of items this evening.
Yes,
Before I
ma'am.
get started, get my trustee statement out. I would like to call the Planning and Development Committee to order. This evening, some of our items on our agenda will require a public hearing. Before we begin those items, I'd like to briefly review the procedures we will follow to ensure an orderly and fair process. These hearings are conducted in accordance with the Georgia Zoning Procedures Act. As elected officials, it is our responsibility to ensure that all applicants are reviewed fairly, impartially, and in accordance with the city's zoning ordinances and adopted land use policies. For each zoning item requiring a public hearing, we will begin with a presentation from city staff outlining the request and any relevant findings. The applicant will then have an opportunity to speak. Following those presentations, mayor and council may ask questions of both staff and the applicant. After that, we will open the floor for public comment. If you would like to speak in favor of or opposition to the application, please complete a comment card before approaching the podium. Comment cards are located near the entrance of the room and should be submitted to the city clerk before your turn to speak. Please include your name, address, the item you wish to address, and, if possible, any specific questions you would like staff to follow up on. All comments should be made respectfully and directed to the chair. When you speak, please begin by stating your name and your address for the record. If you ask a question, please understand that we will not respond immediately during the public comment portion. Instead, staff will attempt to address all questions at once before the close of the public comment, provided the information is readily available. Each speaker will be allowed to speak up to 5 minutes. We will allocate a total of 20 minutes for comments in support and 20 minutes for comments that oppose. This is not a debate. Interruptions, outbursts, or other disruptions will not be permitted. There is a general public comment period at the end of the meeting tonight, but the City Council cannot hear additional public comments during the general public comment portion for a specific zoning item where the public hearing has already taken place for that zoning item. The mayor will cut off any public comment that refers back to a specific zoning item. As a reminder, The mayor has requested that there be no applause or other demonstrations during the meeting. Please ensure that all electronic devices are silenced, and anyone who disrupts the proceedings will be asked to leave. And with that, we can proceed to our zoning items. Our first item is item number 26-045. Says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from R2 Single Family Residential Detached to Public Semi-Public for 0.17 acres located at 6695 Brown Street in Land Lot 739, District 1, Section 3, Parcel ID 0002, application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Chelsea Tubbs.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Tubbs, Planning and Zoning Administrator, 6758 Spring Street. This is a housekeeping item to allow for zoning consistency for a parcel acquired on Brown Street as part of the Jesse Davis Park improvements. The proposed parcel is currently zoned R2, which is Single Family Residential Detached District, and staff is requesting to change the zoning designation to PSP, Public Semi-Public, to continue to serve Jesse Davis Park area. The zoning change is also being requested in connection with a combination plat that will be heard on tonight's agenda as well.
Thank you.
And I can answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, because our first three items are all tied to Jesse Davis, so we've got the two rezoning so that we can be in accordance with the public semi-public for the park use, and then, of course, combining those parcels. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions or comments of this item?
I don't.
No? Okay. I know that we do have to have that public hearing, so at this time, if there's anyone here who would like to speak on this item. And if we don't have anyone, we'll go ahead and close that public hearing portion. I know we cannot place that on the consent agenda, but we will take it up on Monday. Our next item is item number 26-046. Says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from R2 Single Family Residential Detached to PSP Public Semi-Public District for 1.04 acres located on Malone Street in Jesse Davis Park in Land Lot 737, District 1, Section 3, Parcel ID 0001, application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Tubbs.
Thank you. This is also a housekeeping item to allow for zoning consistency, except this is a second parcel on Malone Street. Also for the Jesse Davis Park area, we are also requesting that this parcel is rezoned from R2 to PSP to allow for additional zoning consistency to serve Jesse Davis Park.
Thank you, Ms. Tubbs. So once we've completed this process, all parcels of Jesse Davis will all be zoned the public, semi-public, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, Council, do any of you have questions concerning this item? Okay. At this time, if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, now is your chance. And if we don't have any takers, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and take that item up on Monday.
Thank you.
Item number 26-013 says consider request for final plat approval to combine parcels 0008, 0009, 0001, 0004, 0001, 000200. No, that last one is 3002, 0039, and the abandoned right-of-ways inside Jesse Davis Park for a combined area of 29.25 acres at 7775 Jesse Davis Park Drive in land lots 736, 737, 738, 73098, District 1, Section 3, application by the City of Douglasville. Mr. Marcus Thompson.
Marcus Thompson, City Engineer, 8485 Courthouse Square. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. The item before you this evening is pretty straightforward. We're basically just combining all those parcels to have one tax parcel ID. Also, the abandonment of Jesse Davis Park Drive will help us regulate the park a little bit better. Not sure if you guys recall, but we recently fenced that perimeter of the park, so it'll officially allow us to close the park off. So,
Thank you for
are there
that.
any questions or concerns?
I know we've been over this a bit. Coach, did you have a question?
I forgot to ask, I mean, since these are parcels, they're different than the previous two items, so they don't have to be, they're already zoned public, semi-public.
I think it's a combination. If you look at the map, there's multiple. So some of these could be R2 and some of these could be PSP already.
So are we going to have to go back and,
No, because they'll all flow in conjunction together,
I just.
because all the items will pass on Monday.
Coach, the two parcels that we just discussed in A and B are included in this final plat. So I think everything has already been rezoned.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't ask that before.
So when we do it on Monday, like, everything will happen in the same meeting. So the two parcels that need to be rezoned will become PSP, and in the same meeting, we'll also combine all of the parcels to create one. Does that make sense? Anyone else? Okay. Anybody else, questions, thoughts? No? Okay. Are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda?
Okay, place it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, noted. All right, then. Well, we will take this item up then on Monday. Okay. Next item, item number 26-047. Hold a public hearing and consider a proposed ordinance to amend subsections 2.06 of the Unified Development Ordinance to add split-face block to the facade material requirements. Mr. Dana Gray, I thought we said we were taking this off the agenda.
Good evening, Dana Gray, 6758 Spring Street. Again, this is a request for our text amendment to add split-face block to section 206 for facade material requirements. This will be added to the section that allows for 10% an accent material, so they can't go higher than 10% per elevation. So this will give designers and architects an opportunity to stretch their design abilities with a new material. This material does go with stone and brick, so it is a nice accent material, so that concludes.
Thank you for that, Mr. Gray. So question, what happens now if we approve this ordinance change and someone comes along and wants to use more than that 10%?
Part of our review process, we make sure, well, actually, we ask them to put it on the plan, the percentage that they're using per elevation, and we'll review that during our development plan review and
Okay.
also the building permit review.
Okay.
So that would ensure that
So
they're
that would be with staff, and you guys would surely give them a hard time.
correct.
Okay, Coach?
I don't know, we've talked about this item before, and it just every time we talk about it, split-face rock, I just want to cover my house up with split-face rock. There's just something about that appeals to me. But it's on Jesse Davis Park for anybody that wants to know what split-face rock looks like.
Correct.
There it
Yes.
is. So, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
I don't know if my subdivision HOA will allow 100% split face, I'm not sure.
Funny. Okay, any other questions, thoughts, concerns about the split face block? No? Okay, well, friends, this is a public hearing, so if we have anyone here this evening who would like to speak on the item of changing this ordinance to allow no greater than 10% of split face block, now is your chance. And if we don't have any takers, we will take this item up on Monday. Okay. Item number 26-048 says, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a personal care home for property zoned R2, single-family residential detached, for 0.66 acres, located at 7019 Morningside Court in Land Lot 192, District 2, Section 5, Parcel ID 0041. Application by Progress Senior Care Living. Mr. Gray.
Okay, again, this is a request for a special land use permit for a personal care home. They are located at 7019 Morningside Court. The applicant is proposing to accommodate 6 residents. The ages will range between 45 and 65 years old, and the applicant is present.
Okay. Before we call the applicant up here, Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of Mr. Gray?
Not Mr. Gray, we'll wait until
Okay.
presentation.
Okay, perfect. If the applicant would like to come down. And please give us your name and address for the record before you get started.
Good evening, everyone.
evening.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you all today. My name is Emmanuel Ejapong, and I reside at 7019 Morningside. I'm here today to request for approval for the special use land permit to operate personal home care. This is a small residential, non-medical personal home care designed to support seniors who actually need assistance in their daily living. Daily living and which do not require to go to like medical facility. So this pretty much is designed to provide like home-like environment to our seniors. So the services include like meal prep, medical management, mobility assistance, and also to pretty much comply with the county and the state's regulation. Also, I just want to be clear that this is not a medical facility. This is a personal care home. The physician will, the client would actually maintain their physician and also their healthcare providers. So meaning the doctors and the nurses will come to the house based on, like they will come to the house and on appointment basis, like how they would in their private homes. There will be no drop off or pickups in the business or in the business location. So that will pretty much, there will be minimal traffic. And then again, I've also invested over 120 into my property, which is gonna have tremendous impact on the neighbors' properties as well. So upon approving this will allow me to contribute positively to the community whilst operating responsibly and transparency. I am fully committed to comply with all the county and the state requirements to be open to any reasonable condition the city council feels are appropriate to ensure this use remain low impact and well managed. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I've got a couple of questions for you
Sure.
to start with. First, you said that this is a senior care facility,
That is correct.
but the ages are from 45 to 65.
So this is pretty much tailored to senior. That's the goal, but I think during the application, I ended up putting 45, but this is for seniors.
So it's not going to be aged to 45 to
It's
65?
It's gonna be like 65 and older.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that point for me. And I know you also mentioned that you reside at this property, so
That
you
is
live
correct.
there.
Yes, I do.
Is it just you?
It's just me. Well, I'm a single dad of 3, so I have 3 other kids that live there.
Okay, and you said up to 6 residents would be there?
That is correct.
And help me then, because according to tax records, it's a 4-bedroom home.
So I do have a basement that has about 5 bedrooms.
That's
Two-
already been completed.
I'm sorry.
So you've already finished an
Yes,
additional?
it's been inherited, yeah.
Okay. So then the residents would live
They'll
all
live in the
on the
basement.
bottom level?
Yes.
Okay. That helps with those first couple of questions. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of the applicant? Madam Mayor?
I do, thank you, Madam Chair. Pronounce your last name for me, please.
Ejapong.
Ejapong.
Yes. That's a Ghanaian name.
It's close, huh? Oh, thank you so much for coming in and presenting. For your driveway, so you're saying that it looks like you only have one driveway. You have one driveway?
I do.
Okay, and it's 6 residents plus yourself, and so Meals on Wheels coming to feed the seniors, doctors, nurse. So is it going to be a lot of traffic on the street? Is it going to negatively impact like the community, or can you hold or sustain all of those cars coming in and out?
That is correct, because it's gonna be that's why I stated that there's not gonna be pickups, client pickups, or drop-offs. So the doctors,
You gonna feed them?
I am the one that is gonna be taking care of them.
Oh, okay.
100%. So they're gonna live there as their primary resident. So I'm gonna be taking care of their day-to-day activities. Yes, and I'm gonna have a nurse on site as well. Yeah.
So do you have your license for this type of business?
So after this process, I'll have to go through the state as well too.
So you need to be approved before you get your
Yes,
license?
That is correct.
Okay. And the Planning Commission denied the application for the special land use permit. I have to see why they did that. But thank you, that's all I have right now. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chairman.
Thank you. I have one more question right quick before I move along. So you said you will also have a nurse that will be there?
Yes.
Okay, so then you're not the one that's medically trained?
So, okay. So I'm the owner, but I'm gonna be, I've taken trainings. So I have a background, I'm a system engineer, but I've also taken trainings pertaining to personal home care. But I can't do that all by myself, so I'm gonna pretty much need a nurse to work with.
Okay. And then will the rooms be like double occupancy?
Yes, it's gonna
Okay.
be, yes, that's correct.
Okay. I might have more questions in a minute. I don't know.
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did I hear you correctly? You said the resident bedrooms will be in the basement?
That is correct.
Do you have an elevator in this building?
No, it's just, I do not have, but I have those, I'm just gonna build a pathway to the basement on the site, because I have a huge property, huge land behind the building.
So you're saying you have enough topography that it drops down
Yes.
back?
Yes.
Okay, because I noticed that on your site plan, you have a set of steps leading up to the front door. Do you have offices? Are you gonna have an office on the first level?
I have office, yes, I do.
So how do the residents, if they need to get to the office, get to the office?
No, so I do have 2 offices. So since I work from home, so I have office, my personal office upstairs, then I have another office, because I have 5 bedroom downstairs, kitchen, 2 bath, and storage. I have everything down there. So down there, I'm only gonna use three rooms downstairs. So I'm gonna have extra rooms where I can pretty much use one as an office and one to keep, I have a storage, and also if Nessus or whoever comes in wants a place to sit or use it for any other activities.
I'm looking at you've provided a floor plan.
Yes.
I'm noticing that almost none of the doors look like they're ADA compliant. You don't have hallways. You have this hallway is 3'6", so you can do the hallway, but the door does not have adequate turning space to allow a person in a wheelchair to open the door on the ingress side. The stairs are not ADA. Is your bathroom, you're not showing any grab bars in your restrooms. You're not providing, well, there's one shower there. That the restrooms are not ADA. I'm a little concerned about this violating Americans with Disabilities Act.
So I did provide, I'm not sure, I did provide a floor plan which entails all the bathroom and house.
Yeah, I see, I'm looking at the floor plan right now.
And,
But it's not an ADA bathroom.
Okay. because I know like after this process, there's gonna be another process where like the fire department and the other, where they're gonna come in to inspect to make sure that I have the right equipment.
Well, you're going to have to do some rearranging because you don't have a lot of space to work with right there. So, Madam Chair, that's all I have at the moment.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Caldwell, I think you had something?
Yes, ma'am. So I received an email regarding this, and the community cited some concerns, stating that they don't allow parking, there isn't parking on the street, and that the personal care home will contribute to the already heavy traffic flow that they have in the community. Apparently, it's a 11-home community. They also said that this has been addressed before, and just, I guess, other community members cite just concerns. And so the person who sent the email says that, of course, it's not anything against seniors because they have a senior person. But for someone who cares for a senior, as mentioned, I'm looking at this floor plan, understanding that even for the senior that I care for, there are certain things that have to be in place as relates to the grab bars and different things like that. So I will say, it kind of concerns me a little bit. I'm not sure if every bedroom, does it have a bathroom, or is this a shared bathroom space?
It's a shared bathroom.
Okay, and so you will receive funding from the state if approved for the seniors to live here, and then they would still have to share amenities as it relates to the bathroom and things like that?
No, so I'm not planning to seek anything from the state at the moment.
So they would pay for it personally?
So yeah, everything is gonna be on me.
So you're gonna pay for everything for the seniors to be there? You're just gonna house them, they wouldn't pay anything?
Yeah, so mostly based on my experience, most of the seniors that we brought home, most of them doesn't actually capable of walking. They just there. So we pretty much chained them, and the ones that actually actually move, but they pretty much on wheelchairs and stuff. So it's not like they can walk around and everything. That we have to pretty much help them with everything. So in terms of movement, and I have the basement is very huge, and it's very huge, and it was built based on the right measurement in compliance with the state and local.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, so is this just like a community service project? Or what's the benefit for you to invite seniors into your home and you not receive any type of funding or any benefits? I mean, what if they have family? Can their family visit? Then does that then add to the concerns from the email that you have multiple cars, if you have the doctors coming, et cetera? So I think it kind of could create the congestion that maybe hasn't been considered. Aside from, I'm not sure, I guess, how this really works with seniors being there. Where do they come from? Is it that they're just there? What happens to their benefits if they have any? So some of that just kind of raised concerns versus it being a personal care home where you receive state benefits or some additional benefits to be able to care for the person. But just as out of the kindness of my heart type of venture, to me it just kind of raised some concerns. So I'll just have to review just a little more just to kind of make sense of, what's happening here.
Oh, okay. So so in regards to, I probably misunderstood your question in the first place. So we work with the social services. That's where we get our clients from. So when we work with them, in terms of billing, it goes through, it's because they have private and they have the government. So that's where we get funding to take care of them. Right. And in terms of I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you will receive a check. You're getting your referrals from social services, and then the 6 individuals there's a fee every month.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I think Councilman
Okay.
Caldwell was asking.
Yes. And also pertain to traffic, it's pretty much as having a grandma or aunt in the house who is sick. Does not it's not every day that somebody is going to come in the house to visit, or it's not every day. Like pretty much just once every month, where like they will go see their doctors, they will go to their doctor's appointment, or they will go any errands that they have to make. So it's pretty much the same. It's gonna be. This is like a home. This is not like a facility where procedures are going to be done, or equipment is going to be like shipping to the house, so where it's going to create a lot of traffic. This is a home-like, non-medical home care facility, home care living. So it's not going to cause any traffic. And even if we don't put a sign or anything, you wouldn't even know that there was something going on here.
Okay, so just one final question.
Sure.
Have you spoken to your neighbors regarding this venture?
Some of them, not all. I mean, I went to, most part, there are some that I was able to meet them and talk to them about it, and they actually expressed their consent and stuff.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Caldwell. I know I, of course, have also received numerous emails and from your neighbors who do not express consent. And I know for whatever it's worth, my grandparents who live just around the corner here on Rose Avenue, I'm sure I'm in and out of their house multiple times a week, as is my aunt and even my child. I'm sure that, any given day when we pull up, you have, like, I go over there, and then some days if my husband's out doing something, he pulls up, and next thing I know, we're all having dinner over there. And you have 6 additional cars just for, one couple. And I know all families, I recognize that all families are not as close as ours is, but I can't imagine only going to see my loved one once a month. But again, I don't know how all other families act.
But in terms of packing, like I have enough on land. If I have to like extend packing, I can do that.
You
but
have
also,
half an acre.
oh,
you
I
don't-
have. So in the current state, I can actually pack 7 cars there. I have 3 garage, and I have enough space. Like outside could take more than 5 cars outside.
Okay, and so I take it that your children are not driving yet.
No, I have
But-
I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old,
So
and
that's
a
around the
6-year-old.
corner, and then that pops in more cars. And then if they have friends coming over, many of you know where I live, because when you pull up in my driveway, there's my child's car and, I don't know, multiple additional vehicles, because with one child becomes multiple children on any given day. Okay. Who else? I know, Coach, you said you had, okay. Did anyone else have anything? Coach, I think you are it.
Okay, thank you again for your presentation. I don't know if anybody in the room can answer this question, but do we have a number of these type personal care homes in the city or the county right now? Approximately, I mean, is it?
We'll probably have to get that number for you on Monday, because we'll have to look in the business license system.
Okay. So this would be your first type home or business like this?
That is
Okay.
correct.
And you're saying that medical management and meal prep,
That is correct.
and if anybody has a doctor visit, do y'all provide that transportation, or do they have to get their own transportation?
So the doctor will come, will visit.
Doctor makes a
Yeah,
house
they'll
call.
visit, yeah, by appointment.
Okay. How do the folks that you would house, and I know you don't have them yet, but social services recommends them, but what qualifies them for a personal care home? And the insurance, I'm sure, is part of this, where their insurance maybe covers part of the cost. Does someone have to be wheelchair-bound, bedridden? What are the qualifications that you're aware of?
So it's pretty much, a senior who can not pretty much help themselves, feed themselves, bath or move around. So normally they pretty much in the hospital, and maybe they have family members that are busy with work and they can't really provide care for them. So that's where the social worker come in, and they will find a place for them. So when they call us, what we'll do is we'll go to the client and do an assessment with a nurse. We do an assessment to see if we can host them.
Right. So if there was someone, you're not necessarily going to take everybody that's recommended because you may not
Right.
be well-suited
Right,
for that.
right.
And I'm assuming the social services being involved, that these folks would be recommended maybe because, and I'm asking, is your place going to be cheaper than a rehab center or a memory care center, some of the places that, and that's another question, will any of your patients potentially be memory care type patients, which requires a whole lot more?
No, because I do not have that experience to
Okay.
bring somebody in who has that issue.
And you described the nurse. What would the nurse's hours be? Because she's not going to be 24/7 all week long. So there's going to be times when it's just you and your 6 folks.
Yes. It depends. So normally when you open this kind of business, it's hardly to fill this. I mean, the limit is 6. Sometimes it's really hard to fill this, fill it up to 6. Sometimes you might have like 2, 3 for like 6 months, a year. So it's hard to fill it out. But let's say if we get it filled out, because the more people we get, the more we can bring specialists to come in to help out.
So you're not necessarily, your capacity is 6, but
Yes, it might not be 6, it might be 2, it might be 3. But the requirements say 6, but it might not be even 6. It might be 1 or 2 or 3.
And oversight on a business like this, where does that come from? Does it come from the state? Certainly it's not local, but does
City
anybody
manager.
know? Who would be checking on you guys to make
It's
sure
the
you're
states,
doing what you're?
because I have to, the state is going to be sending somebody to my house to do audits, monthly or weekly based on their policies and procedures.
And it sounds like I'll end with this. It sounds like there's several things yet to be done.
Right,
From
prior-
your standpoint, and if Mayor Pro Tem is correct, his reading of the layout, like, for instance, the bathrooms, if they have to be updated, ADA compliant with hand bars and things like that.
Right.
So you would not be able, even if you got approval from the city for the SLUP, you would still you've got some things to accomplish before you're able.
To operate.
Okay. All right, that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
So to that, I know there was a lot of work that needs to be done at the resident, but because I have to go through this process to know that, because I don't want to spend a lot of money fixing that and I don't get it approved and I've wasted a lot of money. So if I go through this process and everything works out, then I can actually, fix those things and go to the next step where I have to go through the states, I have to do fingerprint, they have to send somebody to come to the house to inspect to see that if the house was well equipped for the business before I can actually operate.
Okay, I lied. I have one last question. A SLUP like this, how often does that have to be renewed if he were granted a SLUP?
At your discretion.
Okay, so theoretically, a SLUP could be approved for a limited period of time to see if everything is handled and done the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you, Coach. Were there any other questions? Okay, well, at this time, it is a public hearing, so if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, first, let's open it up if you would like to speak for this item, so we'll get that out of the way. Sir, if you would like to take a seat for just a moment, and then that way we'll give these folks a chance. And now, if we have anyone who would like to speak in opposition of this item, if you'll please come down to the podium, give us your name and address for the record.
Hello, Council. I'm Brian Fisher. I live at 8700 Newborn Way. Yeah, I'm the acting president of the HOA. It is all voluntary HOA. 6 of the 11 houses are participating as of today. Yeah, I was able to go to the previous meeting earlier last week on this. And until that day, the sign was the first notice that I had ever received that this was, our neighbor's attempt to request this. So he hadn't spoken directly to me. I know of 2 individuals, 2 homeowners he had spoken with before this. Both of them cited concerns around traffic, which of course is my number 1 concern at this point. As Chairwoman Miller would be very familiar with this neighborhood, where their grandfather used to live there. It's really a small community with 2 roads that are perpendicular to each other. There's not much space to even do U-turns as a result of one of the roads is actually one way each way with a median in between that bisects it. So the only way to actually U-turn in this community is really going down all the way to the cul-de-sac by my house, and then U-turn to get out of the community, especially if you have a larger vehicle, that's your only option. You just don't have enough to U-turn by his house. So that would be my number 1 concern, other than the fact that he hasn't spoken to most of the neighbors in the community today. And as to my knowledge, he's working full-time remotely on another job in that house. So I don't know where he's going to find the time to do both types of work. This is a very intensive type of job that you have to do to take care of elderly patients in particular. So those are most of our concerns here, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
I'll turn that back on. Never mind, it's not coming on. Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Come forward.
Next, yes, ma'am. Sir, if you'll just hang tight for me, and we're going to let all of the people speak, and then we'll circle back.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Bailey, and I live in the Midtown subdivision, and I live at 7020 Morningside Court, directly next door to the applicant. I agree that, there's important need for what he's attempting to do, but I don't think this location is appropriate for that type of work, because even having 6 individuals there, there's no telling whether or not these individuals will have any vehicles themselves. I know that some of them are wheelchair bound, but that doesn't mean that they are not capable of driving, especially if, and a lot of what we are discussing today is speculative, because we don't know the type of personal care or the amount of care he would be housing in his home, because he doesn't have those individuals. Another concern that I have as well is whether or not it's a non-smoking facility, because then folks will be coming outside on their porch smoking, and that will take away from, the livelihood of our homes, because the homes are in close proximity to one another. And actually, the amount of additional traffic, they would actually have to back up and be this way to my driveway in order to go, because you kind of have to U-turn out of his driveway to exit out of the development. And it is small, and even 6 people, it's going to increase deliveries, it's going to increase visitors. As he stated, doctors will be coming. And another concern that I had that he voiced at the other public hearing we had a couple of weeks ago was that, some of these would be short-term individuals. So that leads me to believe that it could be transient in nature as well. With a high turnover of different folks coming in and out is a concern for us as well, because that really kind of, you just don't know who's living there. And so, and I just say that, just having that facility there just changes the character of the home. And if there are even people with cognitive abilities or whatever, there's 3 in-ground swimming pools located directly next to them. And while we have fences, we're talking about adults. So if these individuals are not wheelchair bound, which I suspect that they won't all be, because I don't know how you can have all of those in a basement area like that, 6 wheelchairs trying to maneuver around in that space. But those are just concerns of ours, along with property values and whether or not people will be out, more people will be outside because you have more visitors and they may want some privacy and want to spend more time outside, increasing the noise level. And like I said, the houses are in close proximity, you know, to one another as well. And so for those reasons, I just kind of, you know, opposed to, you know, the permit, but I do, you know, thank him for what he's trying to do, but this is just not the appropriate location for that. And whether or not there will even be more than one nurse there, if he has 6 individuals on a given day, that adds to it. And it's tandem parking, so it's not like, you know, he has enough for all of these vehicles. It's kind of tandem parking, and most people are not going to want to tandem park to get stuck in. They're going to try to park on the street. And that's just, and so I just have to respectfully oppose to this being next door.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. My name is Timothy Booker. I live at 8707 Newborn Way. I'm one of the neighbors that Emmanuel has met with. I stopped by, toured the facility, looked at all the work he's done. As a fellow entrepreneur, as one of the neighbors has already stated, I applaud him and support the entrepreneurial spirit, but I just can't support it in the capacity in this neighborhood. I have a good friend who lives off of Fairburn Road, and his neighbor directly in front of him has one of these facilities. And he's been at the facility, he's been at his residence 10 years. When he initially moved in, the owners of the home lived there in the personal care home. Within those 10 years, they've since moved out, and the entire home is now a personal care facility. With that being said, there's a high amount of traffic that exists going to and from the facility. There have been multiple occasions when I visited him that there have been fire, EMS, coroner, and just many cars visiting. Our neighborhood is really, really small. I would say it's almost an exclusive neighborhood from the standpoint of, you know, there's one way in and one way out. My friend's neighborhood has multiple paths to enter the neighborhood as well as exit the neighborhood. So with that being said, again, I applaud his effort. I think it's a much-needed service with the aging of the graying of our community. But just in the location that our neighborhood is, I don't think that it's the right place and right space. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. Did we have anyone else who wanted to speak on this item? Hello.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Emmanuel is my brother. I understand that.
You have to give us your name and address.
Oh, thank you. My name is Dolly. I live in Douglasville here. I live in 6094 Locklear Way. Okay. Emmanuel is my brother. I've been supporting him through this process. What he's trying to do is something that we all should think about, like something that is going to help the community. We have a lot of seniors who are looking for places to stay. I have a personal care home. Some of my patients I get from the state, they have not even paid me. I'm not even getting paid, but sometimes caring for these people is a reward, not only towards the city, but also something that we should all encourage people to do. He's just trying to support the city. He's trying to support the community. He's trying to support the county. Please, let's look at it this way. That house that you're talking about, I assisted him to buy it. That house has no HOA. And I would like you guys to review about it. I would like you guys to make inquiries about it. When we were buying, there was no HOA. So if they say that, there's a HOA, I don't know when did they start it. So I don't know why they're talking about that. And they're talking about also parking, I understand. all these people, I will not even say majority, 100% of these people does not drive. If they are capable of driving, they will stay in their home. If they are capable of driving, people, their family members would like to take them. They can't drive, they need support. A place where they will find their fellow people, to be socialized, to be also feel comfortable, to feel welcome at. And I think this is what we should look at. About parking, there will not be no parking issue. None of these residents drive. Their family members, yes, they can visit them. Some of their family members, even some of them will be out of state. Some of the state clients, no visitor. It's only the state people that will come and visit them once a while. And all this process that we're going through after this is not the end of it. He needs to go through the state process to get approval. So with all those, the house, the bedrooms, the bathroom, all the side things that grab bars and everything, the state will make sure it's in comply before they give the license to. So please, let's consider this and let's look into this way in a way to help our community grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Did we have anyone else who wanted to speak on this item? Okay. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and close this section of the public hearing. I'm seeing hands waving over here to my right. Coach, can I go ahead and start with you?
If someone, I've already spoken, but I've got a couple more questions, but
Well, it's
someone.
like when I'm trying to pull out of the driveway, I can't see anybody else.
My bad.
You're okay. I'm sorry.
Anybody?
Madam Mayor?
Only thing I was going to say is I understand, we appreciate everyone being concerned and coming to express your opinion on this matter. And just to the brother of Brother Emmanuel, it doesn't really have to be a formalized HOA. It's just community, people who live in the neighborhood. And so everyone, when you, to the applicant, how long have you, come on up, how long have you been in the house? When did you buy the house?
It's almost a year now, and and nobody has said anything about it. Before we bought the house, it
Yes,
was
sir.
stated that there's no HOA. And I know I have kids, and also, so I'm really much, I'm very understandable where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that will not have any impact to the community. Also, in terms of I spoke to a few people, and they think that bringing that would devalue their property.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, because I personally, I'm actually put more money into my building, to make sure that I'm maintaining it to the highest standard, because I know this area is developing, and the next 10 years, I can pretty much, my value, the value of the house is gonna go up. Then again, I know she talks about the swimming pool and everything. These these seniors are gonna be supervised 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, with those cameras around, we're not gonna let anybody walks out. There's always gonna be under supervision. Most of them can't even drive. They can't do anything. That's the main reason why they come to personal care. Most of them don't have family, so they become our family. We have he's operating something right now, and I'm always there. We talk to them every day. They don't have family, so we make them a family. We put smiles on their face, and I think we need that more. We need that more in our community. So I think we should look at that perspective. The parking aspect, if I go through this process and the city required or the state required me to expand this parking, I have a space to do that. And this is just, and I said it earlier, in our family household, we have people that are sick. Like, how many times does doctor even come to see them? It's occasional, once in a while, that a doctor will come in and actually do their physical or whatever. It's the same thing when it comes to medication. How many times, like when they get a prescription, that prescription can hold them to a month or two before they get another prescription. So there's no way it's going to create any traffic or any sort of, and I think my neighbors are looking at it as medical facility. This is not a medical facility where procedures are going to be done. No, this is a personal care home. And I think that's the main reason why the city allow it for this to be done in a residential area. So there's a process that goes on residential area, and the regulation that goes on both ways. I totally understand where they're coming from, and I believe and I trust them. It's not going to have any impact on the community. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. We appreciate your passion. I was just going to say, based on if you were to think about someone who's had their home, you're moving in for a year. If someone's been in their home 5 years, 10 years, when they moved in the community, it was one way, and that's how your home is currently zoned. So this would be a privilege and not a right to change it from what it currently is when you purchased the home. So when you purchased it, it was a single-family home, and that's why it has to be a special land use permit. So it isn't just because you wanted to change it to something, we have to consider everything. So just letting you know that as well. You're welcome.
Thank you for
Thank you,
that.
Madam Chair.
Coach, did you have something?
Yeah. Just come back up. Thank you. One of the concerns I heard tonight was potentially whether or not this was going to be a smoke-free property. Like you go to a school, not only can you not smoke inside, but you can't smoke outside or anywhere on the property. What are your plans as far as smoking? Is it going to be a no-smoking facility inside and out, including the property?
No smoking, because I have kids, so I'm not going to accept that.
And as far as the personal vehicles, in all fairness, to the folks that came and spoke, you're describing the folks that you would potentially have, not having visitors, not having vehicles, but at this point in time, you don't really know who you're going to have. So my question is, if someone does get recommended to you that you feel like qualifies for your home, and they happen to have a personal vehicle, that's one of the concerns, that there might be added vehicles other than the vehicles that are there now. So would you forbid someone that gets recommended to you that you accept, hey, you're going to have to leave your vehicle wherever with a relative or whatever? I mean, just in case if something like that were to happen.
Yeah, so in terms of vehicle perspective, I will have to talk with the client's family members if they can actually have a place to park their car, because if the person moved to my house and drive around and something happened, the state is going to hold me responsible. So in that case, I will have to have a communication with their family and see if they can find a parking garage or somewhere to park their car.
My next question is for City Manager. If someone that gets approved for this type of SLUP, halfway through it, before the SLUP expires, decide, this ain't for me, and they sell the house, does that SLUP stay with the house? Can somebody else come in and continue, or does it automatically expire if the owner that got the SLUP leaves?
Your legal counsel is responding.
It does not expire if the owner leaves. If you grant the SLUP for a year, it's in place for a year.
Gotcha. Okay. And my last question, someone mentioned the swimming pools, and if you had said that nobody with cognitive issues would be in your facility because you're not qualified to look after someone like that. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct. I do not have that.
So
that
it's going to
training.
be anybody that gets qualified and is allowed to stay in the facility that you are applying for would, physically they might have some issues, but they would not be a memory care type person.
That is correct, because also I have kids in the house, so I would not bring anybody that is like physically or, so. And normally before we bring anybody, we go through and perform an assessment to make sure is that person is, is in the right state of mind to bring them in the house.
I apologize to my fellow council members for all my questions, but the older I get, the closer I get to potentially something like this for me. And I heard several of the folks that weren't exactly excited about having this and were against it. They did acknowledge that this is a growing need in our community. I mean, every time I turn around, somebody wants to build a senior care facility in the city and the county. So, you know, I'm sympathetic to that. I just don't know exactly how these work out. That's why I'd like more information on any that are operating locally, if we can get it before Monday. But anyway, I can understand concerns because, you know, you moved into a house and all of a sudden a business is operating out of the house. You know, so I get it. I'm looking at both sides here. But thank you for answering my question. Madam Chair, I am done.
Thank you, Coach. And
Thank you
please
so
don't ever
much.
apologize for asking a lot of questions. Hold on, sir, we're not done yet.
You just stay here, we'll tell you. I know you have to keep jumping up and down. You getting
I'm
your-
sorry.
You're
Stand
fine.
tight for a minute. Did anyone else have questions?
I
for
have
the
one more
applicant?
question, just one
Madam
more.
Chair.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Oh,
Okay, no,
would
just
you-
go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I
No, you're
apologize.
fine.
You mentioned about the doctors. I knew I was something. And as Coach has said, once you start getting older, so I have a relationship with my doctor. I'm sure the elderly folks will as well. The older you get, you may have something chronic, maybe it's arthritis or something like that. And you said that you would have a physician come to them. So it's going to be, I didn't know we still had doctors on call like that. But the doctor would come to the patient, so if you have 2 to 4, they don't have their own personal physician, you're going to have, I mean, I don't know how that worked. Well, I'll say, my mom was in a situation where she became sick before she passed. My brother moved back home with her. They had to take her to her doctor. So I don't know how she would feel having just a strange doctor coming to look after her. So that's just something for you to consider. You know, if you have individuals in your home, you're saying that a physician will come and look after them, but they may have some chronic things, but they've had relationships with the doctor for 10, 15 years, and you're bringing another doctor in to look after them. So it's just a point of a statement,
Okay.
no judgment.
No, I understood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield
Understood.
back to Councilman Caldwell.
Yes, ma'am. So to your point, as it relates to the doctor, and of course, this kind of hits very, very close because of my responsibility with my grandmother. And so I don't know that one physician could actually see multiple patients unless he or she becomes their primary care physician. Because of course, if they have medicines, et cetera, that provider has to be the person prescribing it. Also, I'm not aware of doctors who routinely do home visits, unless, I guess for some reason, I guess the patient can't get out. But typically, even for my grandmother and others, we have to make sure that they get there. But my concern, honestly, is that I know it was mentioned that your potential patients will not be mobile, right? Or they can't walk, they might be in wheelchairs, et cetera. And so to me, I think that kind of raises the level of concern. When we look at elderly and the care that they need, the concerns, and they're not mobile. And so for me, you know, professionally, I've worked in funeral service since I was 19, right? So we look at when they're not mobile, right? Are they really getting the care that they really need? And I understand with doctors, et cetera. I understand the frustration. It's tough with just me one-on-one. So I can imagine for a nurse having 6 people or a doctor having 6 people. So that's just some of the things to, you know, just to consider. If this is something, you would certainly need to ramp up your staff, right? But the other thing is that this is the most vulnerable, you know, of our population, and I understand the need. I just sometimes wonder if they're going to get the care that they truly need in an in-home facility with one nurse or, you know, a doctor coming in and out, and I'm not even sure if it's their primary care physician. So to me, it's just kind of, it's challenging, right? Because I was reared by my grandparents. So to me, it's that I look at other people's grandparents like my own. So for me, it's just a matter, and I get the neighbors' concerns, et cetera, but for me, it's overall the care of the seniors potentially. And so challenging for me, right? So I know that we'll get to that. And I don't know, I know it came up as the question was, the timeline. But I don't know, I kind of struggle with prematurely approving and then not knowing, and then it's out there, and then now we can't reel it back in. So those are just some of my concerns. Just wanted to mention that, and I've heard everything that everyone has said, and I appreciate you all coming out. But we have to certainly take care of our seniors, and as much as we know that that resource is needed, potentially maybe a facility. But I'm not sure about in-home. And then, of course, with you working and children and all of that, it's a lot of responsibility. So I just wanted to mention that.
To what you said, so from the beginning, and starting everything, it comes with a lot of challenges, and I know that, and as time goes on, when the business progresses, as the more we can add bring more specialists to it, as you said, like if we have 6 people, we're gonna have more people, we're gonna employ people that have, specialize in those areas to help out to make sure that, those seniors are well taken care of, because that's a human being, and we have to help, provide the best need that, the best need that we can do to help them, because there are some people that it's their last year on earth, so we have to make it more memorable for them,
Okay, thank you for that. And then, were there any other questions down here? I know I've
It's
got a
only-
couple more. Okay.
In the beginning, I said it was only one opportunity. I see a hand, but the audience, you have one opportunity to speak. I said it in the beginning for the protocol.
Yeah.
Not the applicant, but just the citizens.
Right, because we already had the public hearing.
Yeah, but someone has their hand up. So I just want you.
Did you want me to address it? Okay. Can I not ask my questions first? I don't know. How much time was left?
There were 15 minutes left in support, and there was no time.
Left for
10 minutes
opposition.
in opposition.
Okay. Sir, if you would like to come down, and if you'll give us your name and address for the record. Mhm. But that's what Madam Mayor said. Oh, I thought you were telling me to allow him to come down.
But you can.
Oh,
It's up to you, Madam Chair. I was saying in the beginning, I said each person has one opportunity and no reappearances if you think you forgot something, but it's up, you're the
I'm sorry,
chairwoman.
okay.
So you allowed him to come. We're not going to have him go back since he
yeah,
came.
no, you're already down here. Give us, well, if you have something new, because that's my bad. I thought Madam Mayor was telling me to.
My name is Dali, 6094 Locklear Way. Thank you again for giving me this chance. So you guys one of your concern that I heard about 2-3 people talking about was the doctor, how medical people are going to come in. So in this process, before you admit somebody into your house, you go assess him. So sometimes it's gonna be, majority of them are gonna be the social workers within the county. They will call you, hey, we have this person, can you take care of him? So you go assess him, make sure that he fits into what you are looking for. So we also have the right to make sure that, because for somebody like someone with memory care issues, we cannot accept them at our home because they are taking care of them is different level. That's why we have memory care facility. We also have mental home facility. So people with mental issues or something like their memory declining, they have special place for them. So people that comes into our place are people who understand instruction and are willing to work with us. And also their doctors make sure that, they have mobile doctors that can come visit them regularly according to what they need. So with the doctors, there are a lot of mobile doctors that we work with, that their doctors make sure, even before their doctors approve this process, their doctors have to approve. So before their doctors are approved, they want to make sure that, do we have a mobile doctor in this area that can go there to check on this person? So that is how it works. So it's just everything is step by step. They don't just give the person to take him and do all the medical things. No. They have their primary doctors that they've worked with 20 years, 15 years, couple of years, so they'll also get involved in this process before they come home. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
So are you going to be working with him?
Yes, he will need my support. I'll be helping him as a brother.
So will you be living there also?
No, but
He has his
as I
own
said,
personal care home.
Okay, because I'm hearing a lot of wheeze. Okay, just wanted to clarify. Okay. I did actually have a couple of questions for the applicant, though. Thank you. So, you had mentioned that you're currently working in a full-time career. So if you make it to your finish line goal on this, do you plan on stepping away from your career
Yes.
to run this house
Yes.
full-time?
Yes. I'm ready to serve.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I guess just for your clarity, I wanted to help you with this a little bit. So I know this development was established early 2000s, like maybe 2002, 3, 4-ish. There was an HOA with covenants, there was. I know that some of those residents who have been there, they may have bought their homes with that covenants in order. And then at some point, it became voluntary and it was abandoned. And now they have been working together to bring it back. So right now it's voluntary, but they have at least, half of the residents that are saying, we want this. So that's where the HOA talk came from, because there was, like, even when Mr. Fisher bought his home, it's not been that long ago, I would say just a few years ago. I don't know, but we did have to get the covenants, and they were provided a copy of that. So it's not like something made up. It was very much still available. And my only other comments right now, because I think it's already been brought up about the doctors, but I guess I'll just say it again. I watch my grandparents, they have their doctors. You can't tell them they have to use a different doctor. And I know I get it honest, because if you guys know Dr. Moody in town, like, he's been my doctor since I was 20 or 21 years old, and I'm not going to another doctor. Like, he knows me, he knows my baseline, so as I age, he'll know what is needed for my health. So I think it could make it harder to find people to come to your personal care facility when they have to abandon their vehicles, which may be their last bit of
Independence.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, independence, and then have to also abandon their doctor who's been providing this care for them for, I've just been seeing the same doctor for 25, going on 26 years, and some people even much longer. And I could see where that would be a problem, not only just for people the change when we don't like change, but because you're bringing on a new doctor who does not know them and does not know, their level of needs. I know that there are some traveling doctors out there, because I've tried to get my grandparents to use them, but they will not, because they're not changing doctors. And I know Mayor Pro Tem brought up something about the ADA accessibility and how you would be able to get the patients into the home. Because when you're looking at your lot, and if you're looking at your home and the driveway and garages are to the left, the topo back behind that, the grade, it is very steep. So I don't see how you could possibly make that ADA accessible. And then you would not be able to go to the right, because you don't have enough land there to the right of your home, because the homes are so close together. And I could see where if you took your home and put it on, an acre and a half, it probably would not be a big deal. But when you have such a close-knit development, it makes it a lot harder. Oftentimes in this neighborhood, some of the people, like, I think Mr. Fisher's backyard kind of backs up. Like, if they're on part of their backyard, they can see their neighbors on the other side of them, and that's how many of the homes are. So I say that because it is changing the way of life that they've already had. And while it may not negatively impact the value of their home, it could impact the marketability of their home very well. And it will not increase their values because of what you invest in your home.
Even though if I don't make any changes to the house, because I'm not changing anything to the house. So in regards to the outside of the basement, I'm planning to build a patio from as soon as you walked out, I'm gonna build a patio where like there's gonna be a door there. So even when they stepped out, they can't even go to,
Are you talking about where the patio currently is?
yeah, no, because the other patio, that's upstairs. There's no,
I'm talking
okay,
about
when
where
you
there's
step
a
outside,
walk-through
okay,
door on
the
the back
front,
side of
yeah,
your
on the
home?
front, yes. I
Okay.
can build a whole patio, you know, like at normal houses, because like most of my neighbors, they have a patio. So I can build a like, you know, a nice patio there. When they walk outside, they can just sit
But
down.
how are you going to get the people to it, is what I'm saying?
No.
Because if you're coming from the driveway side where you actually have enough room to do it, there's a slope that goes down.
Okay, so I actually brought in an architect, the person who designed, so I paid somebody $3,000 to design the architectural diagram that we have today because the city didn't have it, the city didn't have it, the county didn't have it. So the person who designed that architectural thing, I spoke to him about, just in case if I want to build that diagram to go around it. So we have to do topology. I didn't know that or something like that. They did a lot of things to test the soil to make sure that if they have to do is the land and everything is conducive for that. And they told me that it's doable, you know, and it's not gonna have any because the space between. They said I have enough land and the space to the edge, to the end of the I don't know how to do. The
If you're looking
demarcation,
at-
you know what I mean?
If
Like
you're looking
between,
at your house, are you talking about going around to the right of
so
it?
when you go through by the garage, right? You can there's a lot of room to go around, and even you can make a U-turn. You actually can have about probably over 5 cars at the back of the house. You know, so I'm not sure if like when you look at the topology, you can see there's a lot of space that. There's a lot of space there because the person who did the topology, like I pretty much all the requirement that was given to me by the zoning, I forward everything to him. Hey, this is what they're asking for, so this is exactly what I need. So he came in, but the reason why we didn't do everything is I have to go through this, and after that I have to get a permit to do all of that stuff. That's why we haven't done anything.
Right.
So to that, it's not gonna have any. It's not the value of the house because I've seen houses that have pretty much have like a sidewalk there, and that it still have. It doesn't reduce the value. The value is still up there. So even if that's something that I'm going to add it to, I don't think it will drastically because I have added those 5 bedrooms down there, which is actually going to, you know, bring the.
But it will not increase the value of your neighbor's home, is what I'm saying. It
So
will not.
upon research, it's like when you upgrade your house, it did, you know, affect the neighbors. Because when somebody's about to buy, when they send people to come and, you know, do.
So you can use it as a comparable, but when you're looking at, you know, your house is, I don't remember, roughly 5,000-ish square foot, top
Okay.
and bottom. You compare it to the house next door, that's roughly the same amount. An appraiser is not going to value your neighbor's home more because you've added 5 bedrooms in the bottom. But what I'm saying is what it could actually do is make it harder to market their home. So with that, I digress.
Okay.
I think Mayor Pro Tem had
I think Mayor Pro
something.
Tem had something to add to it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you paid your architect already, I get your money back. The other thing I'm noticing, code issue-wise, was I don't see, and again, I understand you don't have the final design here, but I don't see how you're going to do this. I don't see a second means of egress out of the bedrooms. Because if your home is, if you've got a sloped site, and this is a basement, you're sitting into the slope of the landscape, so you've got a retaining wall all the way around 3 sides of the house. You've got the entrance, I guess, it looks like it coming into the living room. There's no way for the people in the back bedrooms to get out except to have to come through the front. So if there's a fire in the center of the house, they're trapped.
No, those entrance. So that's when that's another thing that the fire department, when they come with this, they can also actually attest to it. Those actually like a big entrance to the back.
In the back,
So
yes, but how
and
the back is where your front entrance is to the basement.
Right,
So
right.
how do the people in the back bedrooms get out if they're blocked?
So all right. So within you can go upstairs. It's either you can.
But if they're
go-
handicapped, they can't use the stairs.
Yes, they can use, so they can, basically, okay, if it's an open door, the back door, it's an open door. So
Yes.
when you open it, it's like they can pretty much,
But they can't, in the back bedrooms, I'm saying, is you're against a hillside at that point. There's no way for you to design or create a back exit out of the basement of your building. They can't get out. There's only one entrance and exit out of your building, which is the door you're talking about.
Right.
You have 3 bedrooms back behind that have no means of egress, other than to come forward to that entrance. That's my concern. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, very hearty conversation. Councilman Davis, did you have something to add? I couldn't hear you. No? Okay. Okay. If there's not anything else, anyone, then let's take this item up on Monday.
sure.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and we will see you on Monday.
All right, thank you for having us.
Holiday and all.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all, it's like the gift that keeps on giving. There's more. Item number 26-049, consider request for a final revised plat approval for the purpose of establishing the as-built locations of the townhome building for lots 31 through 36, 37 through 43, 73 through 77, and 103 through 108 of Chestnut Grove for 13.277 acres at 2003 Isla Drive in land lots 902, 909, and 910 in District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0032, application by Ashton Woods. Mr. Thompson.
All right. So this is a pretty straightforward item. It's routine for this type of development. So basically what we have here, I like to call is basically like a small fight between what's been constructed versus what was drawn, basically. As we know, things that are built is not really planned, goes as planned, basically. So the action for this item basically ensures that the plat matches reality for legal compliance for homes that are being sold or occupied. And I just want to point out that Chestnut Grove, the neighborhood is located south of Fairburn Road as you are heading towards the public safety complex. And you will make a left on Vincent Road. So just want to remind you guys of that. Are there any questions or concerns?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I know we've already went over this, this development, and you told us that it's been running along. They've adhered to everything they're supposed to. There have been no issues. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions regarding this development? Okay.
I don't.
Are y'all okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hold on, Mr. Thompson, because we have more.
Yeah, the next one.
Item number 26-052, consider request for final revised plat approval for the purpose of establishing the as-built locations of the townhome buildings for lots 17 through 22 and lots 31 through 38 of Laurelwood Phase 2 for 12.018 acres at 5059 Reservoir Drive and land lots 23 and 24, District 1, Section 5, application by FR Arbor Place. Mr. Thompson.
All right. This item is similar to the previous one. Basically ensures that the plat shows reality, basically everything that has been constructed so that it can meet legal compliance for lots to be sold and occupied.
Okay.
Laurelwood is located adjacent to Arbor Place Mall. Are there any questions or concerns?
Refresh my memory. I know I asked you earlier, this is phase 2. Is this the last phase of this development?
Yes, there are only
Okay.
2 phases. Yep, this is the last one.
Okay, okay, so are they, looks like they're getting
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah, I want to say, per the drawings, it seems like they only have 30 lots plus the amenity area to plat.
Okay, beautiful, thank you. Madam Mayor, Council, any questions?
This is the one with the fence and all of that we had to do?
Yep.
Okay. I remember. I won't talk about the fence again. I just remember the fence on Reservoir Drive.
That's the one.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, if there are not any questions or further discussion, are you guys okay placing this on the consent agenda?
It looks like it's a go.
Sounds like it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marcus Thompson.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening for planning and development.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was enough. It was good. We will not go to Public Improvement and Beautification Committee to ask you to say any more. I know you've, yes, sir. So we'll go to Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
This time, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Councilman Davis. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a couple of items this evening.
Yes, sir.
First up, item 26-050, adopt an ordinance to amend Section 10-2, subsection C4, to allow for the pouring of spirituous liquor at permitted events on O'Neill Plaza, Plaza East, Plaza West, and the Douglasville Town Green. Ms. Jordan.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
So currently, the practice under our events at the Town Green has been to provide a number of different types of alcoholic beverages, including beer, wine, and spirituous liquor in mixed drinks. And we found that our code actually left out spirituous liquor. If council would like the practice to continue at our Wednesday wind down and our Saturday special event concerts of being allowed to sell that, then this amendment needs to be approved in order to continue that practice.
Well, I'm glad somebody caught that oversight.
There are so many moving parts with in the past few years with our alcohol ordinance.
Sure.
That was something that was simply overlooked. But again, if you would like that practice to continue, we would like our ordinance to match that practice.
Well, I think everybody can guess where I stand on this, and I certainly support it, but I will see if anybody up here has any questions. Madam Mayor.
I do. Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. Thank you, Attorney Miranda. Is this not covered with the entertainment district?
It is. It was just specifically listed as beer and wine
Okay.
without actually mentioning spirituous liquor being allowed to be poured at those special events.
Okay. And the other thing is O'Neill Plaza, since we're going to be doing the renovations at City Hall, it just needs to be, state this in the ordinance, but is there going to be any time where it's going to be prohibited for anything to be happening there, so with construction going on in the next 18 months?
From a practical standpoint, it could be possible at times, but it's not going to be closed.
Okay. Okay. Oh, because they were talking about the postage stamp, so they're able to do the, bringing the building down and all that without any impeding anything else. Okay. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anyone else? All right, I know. Oh, yes. Councilman Watts.
Sam.
You heard him.
I heard you. The BYOB policy is still in place at all events at Greystone. In other words, folks
No
cannot come in
BYOB.
with their own, correct?
That's correct. We don't have a policy where you can bring in your own alcohol in our parks.
Okay, just
This
wanted
is
to
to
hear
allow,
that.
this is to allow the sale by the,
Right, I get
vendors.
that. I just wanted to hear that out loud, in a public meeting. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
thank you, Coach. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing nothing else, I would like to request that this be added to the consent agenda for Monday.
Looks good, Mr. Chairman.
All right. And then we will move on to the next item, 26-056. Authorize the mayor to sign a letter requesting an extension of the period of performance for the 2024 U.S. Department of Justice Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant in the amount of $18,167 for the Douglasville Police Motorcycle Replacement for Sale Roadways Project. award number 2024-15 PBJA 24GG04599 JAGX, and we will hear from our Deputy Chief, J.R. Davison.
Mr. Chairman, so we applied for the 2024 Department of Justice Burn Grant, which is a non-matching grant in the amount of about $18,167 in 2024. And because of delays in shipping and manufacturing of the motorcycle and equipment, we passed the deadline to close out the grant. So this is just a formality. Once the letter is sent in, we'll be able to close the grant out.
Sounds simple enough. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I would like to request that this be placed on the consent agenda for Monday as well.
I don't see any problems with that.
All right, and Madam Mayor, that is all we have tonight for the Public Safety Committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item tonight. It is to appoint Ms. Tamika Farr from the Chamber to the City of Douglasville's Convention and Visitors Bureau, CVB, Advisory Board for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2027. And Ms. Jackson is at the podium.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6758 Spring Street. As Coach Watts stated, Ms. Tamika Fair, she currently, she currently works for the Douglas County Chamber as the Investment Engagement Manager, and she currently also serves on the CVB Board. She would like to be reappointed in the Chamber position for another 2 years.
Thank you. So how many terms has she had?
This will be her second term, and
Second
there's no
term.
term limit on the CVB Board because the amount of the years in the term is so short.
Okay, thank you. Well, we appreciate anybody that's willing to do it twice or, any committee. We appreciate that. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, I'd like to ask for this to be placed on the consent agenda also for Monday. Thank
Looks
you, Madam
good.
Mayor. That's all I had tonight under Parks, Recreation, Tourism.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. We appreciate that. And to our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Jackson, thank you. We'll move on to Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember DeVitron Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No business tonight.
Thank you, sir. Last committee, Transportation Committee, chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Transportation Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any other business tonight to bring forward from elected officials? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I've been contacted recently by a couple of residents in Arbor Station regarding sanitation and trash pickup, and this is maybe just kind of an operational thing. Their concern was with trash cans being left overturned or the lids being left off in the rain so that water collects in them. And I know that, I do understand how the pickup works, because a lot of times we have automated pickup, and so you just have one person in the truck and they can't necessarily get out and do it. But there's been incidences where I guess trash has been left in the street that's spilled out of the truck or out of the can. So it's just something we need to, no pun intended, clean that up a little bit if we can. There was also some concern expressed about one of the things, I think we need to go back and look at our sanitation ordinance, because I think there's some language in there that's a little dated. One of the requirements is if you have extra garbage, you can put it into a bag and you put a sticker, the seal on it that you purchase from the city for a couple of dollars, which I don't even know that we still have those.
Yeah, those stickers we used to have.
Yeah, but that language apparently this may still be in the ordinance. So we might want to check on that. And the other concern is, and I know we've talked about this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, as we like to refer to, is that the fact that the recycling bins were taken up, and so people who have extra garbage don't have the second bin to do it. And I think is the opportunity, I think, for people, you can actually buy or rent a second one. Okay.
We can put the information out there?
Yeah, you might want to can we make that clear to folks?
All duly noted.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to beat up on sanitation. They do a fantastic job, but we can always do better, right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Any other?
Madam Mayor,
yes,
can I
Coach
ride on
Watts?
the horse that Mayor Pro Tem has been beaten? As far as the garbage, one of the things he mentioned, and this is just something, even folks in my subdivision do, is when they put that trash in there loose and they don't bag it, and I've seen it happen where the truck's dumping it and it just kind of flies off. So folks need to bag their trash, even if you're just putting it in Kroger bags, some of the smaller stuff, rather than just throwing loose stuff. I see it happen all the time. And folks just need to know that. And I'm sure it's on the website. I know it's one of the things that's listed as part of picking up the trash is bag everything. So anyway.
Thank you. Any other comments from the elected officials? I did get it's something positive, so I wanted to read it. From the recycling, let me see. Good afternoon. Can you please relay a message to Mayor Robinson that Rick Calley called and gave great praise about the recycling center? He said people are always complaining, but they never stop and say thank you. I wanted to thank the city and say that you are doing a wonderful job. And he said she gets a smiley face from the recycling center. So just for Public Works to hear that, as well as Rotary went to visit the recycling center, I think Ms. Burdette, a couple of weeks ago on Monday, and gotten great reviews from that. So just attaboy for the recycling center. Okay, any other comments from elected officials? Not seeing any, then we'll go on to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Attorney Dotson. Staff Attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Attorney Jordan. The Police Department Deputy Chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Our City Manager, Ms. Marcia Frazier.
Yes, ma'am. We do have an item requesting an executive session to discuss a personnel matter, but I'd like to add an executive session to discuss potential litigation, and if we can do that one first.
Okay. Thank you so much, City Manager. We do have our Fire Chief, Dr. Allen is here. Do you have anything from the Fire Department? Thank you so much, Dr. Allen. That's our Fire Chief. Comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to speak to us, please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business germane to the city of Douglasville. No takers, Councilman Davis can say. All right, well, if you don't have any other comments, I will open the floor for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss a litigation and personnel matter.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. I have a motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to adjourn into executive session to discuss a litigation and personnel matter after a brief recess. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are into executive session after a brief recess. This means adjourn to executive session.